Hello, I'm making this video today to point out a few things about the November 6th interview of Brendan Dassey. First off, this is all happening one day after the RAV4 has been discovered. At this point in time, they couldn't have possibly had any evidence that pointed to Brendan to justify the interrogation. In fact, we now know that they never found any trace of Brendan in the RAV4 or in Stephen's trailer. But Deputy O'Neill couldn't have known that at the time. Nor did he have any evidence pointing to Brendan at the time. Deputy O'Neill is a sheriff with the Marinette County Sheriff's Department who pulled over Brendan with his brother Blaine while they were on their way to get some sodas for the Crivets cabin. I listened to this interview for the first 20 minutes and it seemed mostly normal. Just law enforcement asking normal questions in pursuit of a missing persons investigation. However, around the 20-minute mark, that all changes, and Deputy O'Neill begins telling Brendan what happened. This first clip is mostly harmless.
You remember that girl taking that picture? You're getting off the bus, it's a beautiful day, it's daylight, everybody sees it. You do too. Do you remember seeing that girl standing there taking a picture?
Brandon, come on.
You do know, don't you?
Now that's no big deal. I think we can all agree that Teresa was there, whether you believe she left or not. But what this does show is that the deputy is beginning to tell Brendan what to say. And then 30 seconds later, he says this.
It's either yes or no. I mean, I'm not putting nothing in your mind. You tell me if you remember that girl standing there taking a picture.
Okay, well that's good, right? At this point, O'Neill becomes very aggressive and begins asking Brendan about when he got off the bus. O'Neill then asks Brendan if he saw Teresa, to which Brendan responds yes, he saw her taking pictures of a van.
What happened to that girl? She didn't leave. What happened to that girl?
She stayed there 5 minutes and then she left.
No, that's what you're being told to say.
Brandon,
What happened to that girl?
That's all I know.
Brandon. What happened to the girl, Brandon?
He said he did it.
Well, I don't
What
know.
happened to the girl?
I don't know, that's all I know.
So you get off the bus, you walk down the driveway. She's still there, right? You see her, don't you?
Yeah.
Who else is out with you?
When I listen to this, when I listen to that, and I hear Brendan ask, do you guys think he did it? It's because Brendan's beginning to realize that their questions are suggesting that he knows his Uncle Stephen did something to Teresa. I believe upon realizing this, he asks the question out of sheer shock. 40 seconds later, O'Neill asks Brendan about the question.
Question, Brandon. You think he did it? No, you just asked me that question. Why would you ask me that? Did what? That he raped her? Did she go into his house, Brandon?
Maybe it's because a traffic stop turned into an interrogation, and 25 minutes in, Brendan just feels like he's being attacked. He's scared and confused, and he really doesn't believe his Uncle Stephen was involved. And he also notices that O'Neill is becoming very agitated, so he starts guessing. He remembers the rape that his Uncle Stephen was accused of before. If law enforcement can frame his Uncle Stephen then, he probably figures if he says that, O'Neill will finally leave him alone. It's pretty clear in the way that Brendan phrases all of his responses as a question that he's grasping at straws and hoping that O'Neill will leave him alone. A bit later, Brendan says that Teresa left the property, and this is O'Neill's response.
Concerned. Did something happen that shouldn't have happened? Well, why are you lying to me about things? What do you mean you ain't?
Accusations of lying with no evidence on Brendan? Dirty pool.
Don't worry about that.
That truck did not leave that place. It did not go out the driveway and take a left.
Once again, O'Neill tells Brendan she didn't leave, and then he follows with this a short time later.
And nobody's saying that Stephen did this, okay? Nobody's saying that.
What? Are you freaking kidding me, O'Neill? You've constantly been asking whether or not she went inside Stephen's trailer, and you've said several times that she never left there. 2 + 2 = 4, Chief.
Is that girl alive, Brown? Is she? Yeah, you do know Brown. Were you involved in this?
It's just constantly badgering, or calling him a liar, or just completely dismissing his words. But Brendan still has sympathy for his Uncle Stephen.
I know I felt what you do. I felt bad for him.
I love that Brendan brings this up. If you've wrongfully convicted a man once, shouldn't you possibly take a little extra care to make sure you don't repeat that mistake? Or at least give the appearance of fair play? Apparently not. The fact that this is all happening on November 6th, one day after the RAV4 was found, really reminds me of the way that they reported Stephen Avery as a murder suspect 154 minutes after Teresa Hallback was reported missing. I will leave a link to Sean Atwood's video down below, by the way, so that you can check that out. Meanwhile, let's check in with O'Neill.
Where'd they go? She didn't leave. Brandon, she didn't leave.
If you look back at some of the most infamous serial killers to ever grace the streets of America, who do you have? You have Ted Bundy, you have Son of Sam, Jeffrey Dahmer, the Zodiac Killer, the Green something killer, sorry. But these are famous people that had big press releases, some of them were after them for a long time. Do you realize that not one of them ever had a press conference that you couldn't continue to listen to? That's a fucking problem. So, before you even get into really what I found, let me take a step back and explain gaslighting. What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is when somebody's trying to convince you of something that they say you did that you never did. It's kind of like making you lose your mind. So if I say to my husband, you cheated on me, he's going to say, no, I didn't. And I'm going to say, yes, you did. And you did it at this time, on this date, with this person, and you were in this parking lot. And he's going to say, you're fucking out of your mind. And then I'm going to convince him over and over and over that this is what he did and this is how he did it. Eventually, it's going to break him down to the point where he's going to say, did I do it? Maybe I did do it. And he's going to question his own sanity. That's gaslighting. The cops did this to Brandon on November 6th and on March 1st. Now, the other catch of gaslighting is that with gaslighting, you know what you're telling somebody, so you can even convince yourself over and over that they cheated at this time. What I found in a video is, and you guys can watch it, it's press release. Not once did he ever look down at a paper to know what he was saying. Are you gonna fucking tell me that this guy sat there all night on March 1st and studied every single thing that Brandon said? Get the fuck out of here. No, he didn't. He's not even that intelligent. So, Brandon's confession wasn't until March 1st. And the press release was March 2nd. And Pratt also made it a point to say numerous times about sweat and how everything is sweat. Guys, give me a fucking break. There is no way in hell that he knew every single fucking detail of what Brandon said unless, and a big unless, he was the one feeding Brandon, or the cops were feeding Brandon exactly what was meant to be said. No different than gaslighting. And that's what I came to this afternoon, that, you know, this whole entire case from A to Z has been a butt fuck of so many different minds, or I should say a mind fuck of so many different people. You know, let me also stress the fact, Brandon is a special ed kid. I have an autistic child. I know what that's like. I could probably convince my son, who is also a gifted student and a high IQ, I could probably convince him that he killed Kennedy if I tried hard enough. That's exactly what happened to Brandon. And to nail it in the coffin, what does Kratz do? He blows his load, basically, to the entire fucking public. That's insane. Nobody else has ever done that in the history of serial killers or murders. I mean, in this country, we are innocent until proven guilty. Who the fuck are you to give a press release like that? Not even just, okay, we arrested somebody. A fucking press release like that one day after you get a confession? Really? And all these people get fucking promoted? I'm sorry, but that's just fucking insane to me. So, I'll have more videos coming, but this was my first, and I hope you enjoyed it, and if you didn't, oh well.
Okay, so we're gonna listen to this stuff on Common Sense Central called Rebutting Murder. I'm gonna go through each episode. I'm gonna rebut.
Well, it's on and on.
Here they come. Up the road. After 18 years.
Making a Murderer is a national obsession, a riveting, visually stunning masterpiece of documentary filmmaking. But it's also one of the more slanted, one-sided pieces of storytelling in recent memory, establishing its narrative that an innocent man was twice framed within the very first 2 minutes of the series.
We knew he was innocent. We knew he was innocent.
Law enforcement despised Stephen Avery. Stephen Avery was a shining example of their inadequacies, their misconduct.
It was like the same old Steve was back. He was happy, he was smiling. I did tell him, be careful.
Okay, folks, so now I'd like to get into an area that's very close to my heart. Now, I spent the majority of my life training for a career in criminal justice. I originally wanted to be a criminal law attorney. And, you know, circumstances, life happens, and I wound up not going to law school. But that doesn't take away from my original passion, which is law, more specifically criminal law, more specifically homicide. And I did train for a while there to be a homicide detective. I have a criminal justice degree with a focus on forensic analysis. And, so this is a very big deal to me.
Hello, Sean Apple here. This is my passion for London. This is the first in my Making a Murder question series. The question I received was, what do I actually think happened to Peter Halbach? Usually when there's a murder, it's committed by someone they know, ex-boyfriend, family member. So I would put ex-boyfriend at the top of my suspect list. According to a co-worker, he was allegedly stalking another co-worker at his place of employment, which was a nurse. If he was stalking Teresa, and perhaps Teresa had found a new love interest, maybe he committed a crime of passion, which is quite common. We also have the zipper theory, whereby supposedly zippers was her last stop. Cell phone records show things that had up, as Kratz said. She may have been at Zipper's. The Zipper may have suspected her as trespassing and shot and killed her, thinking she was a trespasser. So they're my two main suspects. Still got the German suspect on the list, he's not completely off yet. He's threatened to sue me and he's threatened to move people online. His ex-wife has completely changed her tune about what she said originally that was put on the internet. And we know that people who completely flip-flop, like Stephen Avery's ex flip-flopped and said he was guilty. To me that arouses more suspicion, so I'm still suspicious.
Stephen Avery? Yeah, roll up. You're out of there. By order of Sheriff James Gary Tagle and investigator Wendy Baldwin. When they flew over the Avery Salvage Yard on the 4th of November 2005 and took a aerial photograph, which proves that Chris Halbach's 1999 Toyota RAV4 was not where Armstrong found it the next day. Also, does not show a Subaru or a Skidoo outside of your garage.
Okay, we're singing for real now. Do this one for the cowboy. Just heaven and hell for you. On and on,